First of all, the false representation of the data ICE shared. So that was what we are seeing, false representation. I got to call that out. We got to call that out.
Can you clarify what the misrepresentation is?
The numbers that is being put out about how many people are out has been falsely represented here.
Apparently in the Biden White House, facts are no longer just facts, especially when it comes to the shocking number of criminal migrants now roaming the streets in your cities and towns. Let's bring in Angel Mom, Agnes Gibboney and Chicago resident and director of the Community Roundtable, Cata Truss. Thank you both for coming on. Agnes, to you first. You heard Karine Jean-Pierre there. They were asking her about the fact that we had these horrendous numbers coming out on Friday, saying that we literally have 500,000 convicted felons, convicted criminals from other countries roaming the United States. The White House is saying those numbers are being misrepresented, but they can't tell us how. What do you think about that? I know your son Ronald was shot and killed by an illegal immigrant gang member some years ago. This has clearly got to have an impact on your thought process.
Absolutely. The guy that killed my son was deported before and came back into the country. What Jean-Pierre is saying is nothing but a pack of lies. It is disgraceful, disrespectful to American people to lie so boldly like that, because the Border Patrol is giving out the numbers that almost 500,000 criminals are roaming our streets, and they're denying it. They don't even know how many millions of illegal aliens crossed our borders under this administration. You know, Trace, I want to say something. They blame President Trump for everything.
Right.
Biden is to blame for this, and Kamala Harris, because they are the ones that allow this insanity to continue. And because of that, thousands of people have been hurt, violated, and scarred for life.
Meantime, to you, Cata Truss, I want to put this up because the Wall Street Journal editorial board says, quoting here, Harris spins a new border tale. The subheadline reads, blaming the surge on Republicans evades years of failed policies. I mean, she's now just out and out lying, saying that this is all Donald Trump's fault. And Cata, at some point, you know, people want honesty. They've seen what's happened over the past 3.5 years. You've covered it. We've seen it happen in the big cities. And now the Democrats are like, nope, it's all Trump's fault. And people know it's not true, and it's got to be detrimental to her campaign.
Well, first of all, she hasn't been to the border in 3.5 years. That in itself is a travesty. And so you have to think about the fact that as the border czar, everything that is happening right now has happened under her watch. And I don't care whether or not they say that they had a plan and the Republicans are responsible for it not going through. We have to remember that this administration still has the power to put forth an executive order to change things. As far as I'm concerned, Kamala Harris is a day late and a dollar short, and this kicking the can down the road has to stop. This administration is responsible for what we're seeing. And Agnes, I just want to say that I am so sorry for your loss. But you know, if things get any worse, as they are doing here in Chicago, and think about this, there are already deficits in all of our budgets. And what happens when the money runs out? The people here in Chicago don't have enough money to sustain themselves. Add millions of migrants to that number, and you're going to have a bloodbath at some point. Because at some point, all of these people are going to want to have to eat and live the American dream. Violence has already increased. Crime has already increased. And this is with migrants receiving thousands of dollars, receiving homes. And let me just say, there's a migrant family that, the first migrant family to buy a home here in Chicago. Mind you, they have no legal papers, no legal documents, but they're able to get loans. That family is living 17 steps from my home.
Yeah, it's amazing. Would you like to respond to that, Agnes?
Yes, it's a disgrace. Where is the help for our seniors, for our veterans, for our families, for our children? If I may, I wanted to show, this is my son, Ronald, who was murdered. This is permanent 6 feet separation. And my son was killed 22 years ago, and Ruben Morphine was killed 47 years ago. So this is nothing new in our country, this criminals coming in and staying in our country. We need to remove them, and Kamala Harris and Biden, they need to be charged for treason because they are destroying this country. They have destroyed this country because they don't even know how many millions of illegal aliens crossed our borders.
Cata, I've literally got 10 seconds left for you. What's your final thought?
My final thought is, I want to say to the voters, if nothing else should help you decide who to vote for in this election, this situation right here should be a deciding factor.
Yeah, Cata, thank you. Agnes, best of luck to you. Thank you.